Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I have with you Remnant Betwixt. So this is the Smacky Cup 2 Finals Round 2. And so basically there's only four, at this point in the matches, there's 4 people, 2 matches only going on. So I chose Rip versus Kilmefirst, and 2 reasons. 1, you guys naturally just seem to love Rip, so ta-da! Second of all, I think this is going to be the more interesting because the other one is an Olaf mirror. On this map, Olaf is the top pick on this map, and I think this is just going to be a more enjoyable match to watch. I don't have too much to talk about on this map in particular. You got 3 base. You do have 2 airports, and this one is a little bit more forward. So, let's go ahead and just get into the reinforcement lines. Player 1 and player 2. And so these are kind of really close, and they're really close to particular cities. So really the whole thing I'm trying to drive at here is that there's a lot of contestable cities. There's 3 to 8 depending on what you consider contestable. Also, this is kind of a high income match, so there's going to be a lot of vehicles, a lot of air support. Let's just look at air reinforcements real quick. Oop. So this is 2 turns of air reinforcement, and to compare it to, here is the 3-turn reinforcement for vehicles, and as you can see, it's right on top of them. So this means that air support reinforcements are an entire turn in front of the vehicle reinforcements. So air is potentially really powerful on this map. It's not unthinkable that you could do air on air engagements. You could do anti-air. Anti-air is not particularly too impeded on this map. It's just going to be a little behind, so build order accordingly. One thought that I had looking at this map is I see getting to the center is relatively difficult. However, they do give a port, and if I want to see if that's valuable, I'm going to do reinforcement lines for that and have the 2-turn reinforcement to compare. And here's the 2-turn reinforcement to compare. What this kind of yes, it's beneficial, and if you extend it to 3, it would be beneficial even out to here. But the main point of this is that it's a little bit more efficient to fight on this front with it than it would be to fight on this front. Right, so it's a little bit more efficient, so you might want to be pushing them up here. Maybe we'll see about that. Next up on the docket, CO choice. Obviously most people chose Olaf in this match. Rip was the only one who chose someone different in the finals, so that's kind of why I'm choosing him. And I think it's going to be a little bit easier to explain the thought process on what each CO wants to do. It does kind of look like an Eagle map, I'm not going to lie. But for reasons complicated in how the nuance you have to play Eagle, we'll just say it's outside the scope of this video. So we have Olaf and we have Von Bolt, and I'm going to kind of divide them into one being a superpower CO and one being a day-to-day CO. So on a map like this, the day-to-day CO wants to kind of force engagements on this map, right? He wants to force engagements, and by forcing engagement, he's going to leverage his day-to-day to deal enough damage to Olaf, with the goal that once Olaf finally does get his power, his army is going to be too maimed to actually take a decent super against Von Bolt. And so he can just keep leveraging that. Olaf wants to do is he wants to maintain fair trades while also trying to maintain the income. Because if he loses too far on either of those fronts, his superpower will not be enough to make a comeback. Why I think that's going to be relatively important on this map is because I consider I counted 8. It's probably closer to 6 and I'm just missing something. But there's a lot of contested cities on this map. So, one, if Rip can contest those cities, that forces Kilme to have to do something about those or risk losing that income. Because there's a lot of them, that could make a difference in the game. Von Bolt's typically a good CO choice for that process because that extra defense makes him really difficult to knock off those cities and just kill in general. So, especially because Olaf doesn't have any like boost to attack or whatever, he's gonna have a really hard time dealing with Von Bolt and trying to just knock off his units and whatnot. In general, Olaf not having an actual like day-to-day, he has a really weak early game, so he's going to be going to be somewhat behind. He just has to not lose enough for his power to kick in and make the comeback. That's enough rambling on. Let's get on with the show.
Ready? Go!
And here he opens with his... He's kind of well known for it, for the transport copter, for a transport unit in general. I think it actually really makes sense with what Von Bolt wants to do in this map, because if Von Bolt can get his units to the cities, he can contest them. If he can get them on the cities, that's great, because then Olaf is going to have a lot of trouble kicking off Von Bolt units off of cities. So at the very least, he's going to be able to use that to force some fights, which Von Bolt on the whole should be able to win and gain material. Worst case scenario, he's able to delay those cities effectively. And just while we're going through this, just try to keep an eye on this, because Rip makes really good use of really effective uses, especially of boosts and boosting. But the big thing is he's going to use this to go get these cities as early as possible. And boom, we see the first tank. So that might be... It's not his first unit, so he has a unit elsewhere. There might be a unit up here, or... I don't know. I don't know enough to know that. All I know is that there's another unit out there somewhere. But it's not over here, but what we can see, so it's maybe... Well, we'll see. We'll see. So we see that there is a unit. There's the tank in this forest, and he's going for the comm tower. I don't think he was able to see this. He had vision of the recon. Okay, so slow down on this. He's able to, one, use this to contest or delay this comm tower, and then what was he going to do with the tank? Boom. And this should be okay, because 1, 2, 3. Yeah, if there was a reinforcement tank, it should have been like over here. It wouldn't make sense for him to just knowingly move a tank here. So he's probably fine with this. He probably got a free hit on this tank. Although this is the only vehicle I'm seeing, so maybe a little bit of caution over here. I don't know what Kilme is planning. At the very least, Kilme is not being overly aggressive, which is good. But he did lose that little skirmish down there. Moves the tank away. And we see his so he definitely this is probably what he opened with, to be honest. So we have a good idea what his opener is. He's showing this to us. I mean, I don't really know if this is a threat. I don't know what the game plan is here, just because this guy looks all alone. He knows he's going to be contested there. Maybe there's a tank waiting back here ready to hit. I don't know. So, units on the cities, and make note, we're going to make note of it at the end of his turn. Okay, so look at what's going on. He has this city, he is threatening to capture this city. He's threatening these two, and this one, right? So, that will be, if he's basically threatening to capture or have captured almost all the contested cities. So this is exactly what Von Bolt kind of wants to do. He wants to force Olaf's hand and force him to go contest those cities. Which, if you look, Rip is all ready to go and just... He has all the units ready to go throw hands. So any interaction here is going to be in favor of Von Bolt. This is exactly what Rip wants. And if he doesn't contest this, well then he's already going to get the lead in terms of income. He can't let that get too high. This is going to put him way over the limit of what's acceptable. Because Rip already has equal income, his fair share of income, plus he's threatening all of that. 4 cities at once. That's pretty noticeable. So he brings in his tank. And this is the issue with Olaf versus Von Bolt. On that city, there's almost no way he's able to two-shot, using any combination, two-shot the unit off of that thing. Right? He has to wall break this guy before he even has a chance to dislodge this guy. So Rip can easily just move this guy off, tank on here, boom. It is a really hard thing for Olaf, and it's kind of a losing battle for situations like this. Although he's able to do it, he brings in the tank, doesn't kill the vision, but he will kill it. Does it? So, yes. Does he manage to break through and get it? Sure. But look at all the units he used just to do that. More than he should have had to. I mean, he is doing a really effective job of trying to fight into this. It's just, look at the tank, helicopter, anti-air, all these infantry ready to poise to strike. Okay. So right away, captured these 2 cities. So he's at 28. So he's 2,000 above, and we know that Kilme could not possibly have this. So at most, Kilme has 24. We're around 4,000 above Kilme. So that's going to be some decent change. That's every other turn a tank. So he's going to need to do something about that. Otherwise, it's going to come back to bite him in the butt. Boom, look at all those engagements. Rip is being able to take some good engagements here. So again, up here, what Rip does is he doesn't have anything to back this up. So just leave him here if Kilme decides to contest this or try to do anything. Well, Rip's just going to lose his infantry. So he pulls them back and prepares to get a first strike on them if they go on the city or something. And at the very least, he's going to be able to delay any capture. And what this might have the effect of with Kilme is that Kilme's going to have to ends up having to push a lot more resources here to reclaim these. Although I'm not sure that's going to be worth it, though. I think it might be better. It's hard because if you forgo these, he's going to get these rather soon, and to be able to push, let's say, over here and get these is going to be difficult. One of the nice things about controlling the center on this map is, let's just kind of say he controls this area. These units can't just make a straight beeline to this front. They can't do that. Why? Because his units are in the way, and if he tries to move them without balling them up, he's just going to be able to pick them off. If he wants these guys to get over here, these guys over here, he's going to have to kind of do this maneuver. It's an over-exaggeration, but you get the point. That's one of the strong suits about the center on this map, is that you kind of split the map into two fronts for your opponent, and your opponent can't front switch easily to deal with threats, but you can. That's something that's going to give Rip the advantage on this map. So I was able to knock him off. Oh, because it was at 9. That's why. So I was able to do that to knock off that that tank. I mean, he can see the full army now. I don't know if it's worth for him to keep pushing in, but I don't know what his cards are at this point, so it's going to be really easy for this guy to target this battlecopter, so he has, because you moved it slightly more in the center, these guys up here are going to be able to reinforce because you moved up a little bit. If you kept low, probably fine. I think Rip is going to target his vision first, because once you lose your vision, it's going to be difficult to calculate how to target your opponent's units. Oh, boom. Oh, that was a one-shot. Oh, yeah, I was on a road, that's why. Boom from across there. Just gonna keep... See, I like this. He's able to pull back his infantry and use it to destroy another infantry at the same time. Opens up for that. Opens up the city with the tank. Makes it so this guy's not going to be useful for doing damage to this battlecopter. Boom. So right here, you see, from the beginning of the turn, if we just move back, Olaf is about to get his power first, right? It's kind of expected. 1, Rip is just taking good engagements. 2, Olaf has a shorter power meter than Von Bolt, so knowing that that Olaf is going to get the power first, he is making sure to destroy as many units to cripple Olaf as much as he can before the power strikes. And we're going to see how effective it was. Ho, ho, ho. So what we can figure out, okay, so we're looking at the total discrepancy between these two. That's going to be about 18,000. How much damage is this going to do? Well, I could have calculated it before that, but we're just going to let the... It's higher. It's about 20... Wait, hold on. At 11... Yeah, let's say it's about 20,000. So it's a little bit more. Can Olaf go even further with engagements? That is the question. Because he brought it back. I don't think he didn't. Yeah, I don't think he brought it back within a half turn to be in a half turn of each other. So that may not be good. Up here, it looks like he's trying to contest this and flip it. Okay. I kind of like that. Try to get something over here. But he's going to have to show a little bit more of a threat over here. Because right now, these guys, these infantry are going to be able to deal with it. Actually... No, he's going to get that city. He is going to get that city. Okay, what's the plan after that? Maybe try to flip this city? But again, if you're putting resources here, he's really got to pull back. Kilme has kind of has to pull back, right? I don't see how he can keep pushing into this and do anything. Part of the thing that Olaf wants to do is Olaf naturally wants to threaten his opponent with, during his super, threaten cities, so that his opponent has to fight into the Winter's Fury. Because for most COs, they don't want to fight into the Winter's Fury. Because of that limited movement, their power is going to be somewhat mitigated. So, but in this scenario, Von Bolt has the upper hand in threatening cities. So, I don't think it's necessarily going to be easy to accomplish, especially depending on if you're doing well in the map or not. So he moved, if we go back, just to kind of highlight this guy right here, this tank, moves here to destroy this unit, but more importantly, it's here to get vision of what's over here. So 1, 2, 3, he sees this, he sees this. He's not feeling super confident about this, so he kind of just pulls back. It's what I would do. And what is Rip doing? Finishing off some units, and he's pulling back himself. So luckily 2 damage is enough to heal up if he puts it on the city. And some units he just doesn't care about that extra 2 damage because it's still able to do its overall job. Ooh, and he has, because of the increased income, he's able to buy the lander, and this is going to really help him reinforce and get those vehicles in here. And because he's kind of taking his bulk of he's balling up in the center, right? He's controlling the center. He's going to be reinforcing to the center. So because of that, because he doesn't know where his opponent might put the threat, he's able to easily move to either front, no matter what happens. Cool beans. So, and goes back. So he does get this. Oh well. He's still. It's a 2000 flip, so it's still not too bad. Rip still has a decent advantage. Boosting a bunch of infantry, and he has an artillery. So some people think that artillery are like almost not useful in, well, they over exaggerate the less effectiveness of artillery in fog. And it's not that they're useless, it's just that they're lacking of one of their one of the many tasks that they do, which is zoning. So if your opponent can see the artillery, then they have the choice to either try to push in and fight it, or they can just avoid it altogether, right? They have those two options, and if you can't see it, well, you don't get that option. So, I mean, there's still plenty of play you can do with an artillery, especially with zoning and whatnot. So, I don't know, go ask like Izanagi or something. He'll tell them they still have decent value. If they didn't have value, then you wouldn't see grit like still in like tier 1. You wouldn't see them there if artillery were not still good in fog. They're not great, but they're still good. So let's get vision on that. Get some vision. So far he does have this, and he's kind of protecting it, but at the same time it's not threatening anything I would consider worthwhile. He's still too far away from his opponent. Like, just for instance, like Rip made 2 artillery, and he's fairly good. I think he knows what he's doing with artillery, even in fog. Okay, so now he is trying to contest this. I don't know if he's trying to threaten it. We'll see. He can't afford to be. Olaf really kind of has to like almost ball up his forces, because his day-to-day makes him weaker comparatively to other COs, and he can't afford to just be kind of like risking it for the biscuit. So he's contesting, he's threatening another city. Okay. So he wants his opponent to take an engagement. There's a tank. My thought is to yeet the recon. Oh, and there we go. That was a good call. So basically, 1, he uses the recon to 1, contest that city, 2, to get vision, and good thing he does get vision because he sees this big guy. And you know, on this guy and this guy. But this guy is going to be the real thing to deal with, because do you see a Neo tank on Rip's build? No. So he's going to have to deal with either delay what it can do, or quite possibly try to zone it with the artillery. We're gonna see how that works out. If you're able to, in the situation, use an artillery, it's really good cost effectively. Not only that, but in your build order it's great, because then you can build other vehicles usually that turn. Then you're not, let's say, lacking in any particular area of your army composition. But sometimes you just need, you know, like a Neo tank as a Neo tank counter, or maybe a bomber as a Neo tank counter. Whatever it is you got to do. Ooh, and he sees the artillery. Boom. Ooh, boom to the artillery. He just has overwhelming unit count, and that's why he's able to just kind of do so much damage over here. And keep in mind that what it looks like he's doing here is he's crippling his opponent's force over here, so that it's not going to be able to deal as much damage in return. The biggest thing is, sure, he has a Neo tank. The Neo tank can only target 1 unit a turn. So, and none of the units he has out here are particularly very valuable. So, let's say just tanks, for instance, you're going to have to kill like 4 tanks for it to be worth it. Is it going to last that long? We'll see. We'll see how long that Neo tank lasts. Boom, he's going to target the vision, and with an infantry gets that, moves his unit down, probably going to move this guy down with it. Threatens capture of this city, threatens capture of this city. He's still making active threats. So, go Rit. Makes his own Neo tank. Sometimes Neo tank, you just need a Neo tank to solve a Neo tank. Positioning his units down there. He's got an artillery. I'm pretty sure this is just to get vision over here on the city. And kill me first. Let's see what magic you can do. Runs in with the tank on an infantry. Okay. Are you gonna target that recon? He's targeting the recon. He's throwing away that anti-air to contest that. Ooh. I don't know if that was the right... My preference would have been to hit this tank, because one, this tank he might have had a shot of actually KOing. This one he had no shot on the city, and my big conundrum is that you can possibly put another Neo. He doesn't know if Rip has a Neo. Rip has had the income lead for some time, so he quite possibly could have had a Neo. Let's just count this through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So this tile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So in terms of 3-turn reinforcement, it's quite possible that a Neo tank could have been put on that city and hit your Neo tank. So I'm not really loving that. Whereas if you hit this tank, you could very well have actually destroyed it and then taken some more shots at this with your other tanks, maybe. This guy, I don't think you're going to be able to knock him off. Maybe you... I still think it's a 2-shot for this guy. I just don't think you're going to be able to do it. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, he's just kind of throwing his tank into the yellow-blue yonder there. The only nice thing is 1, 2, 3, he's not putting his Neo tank in the range of the artillery, but the artillery is going to get a guaranteed shot. And he goes for that tank. He sees there's an anti-air right here, man. Oh, okay. Ooh, and another battlecopter. So yeah, he did kind of weaken his opponent. Counters that. You got 2 over... Yeah, you got 2 over here. These guys are easily written off. Clean up some of these tanks. You have some counters. You have the counters for the all the battlecopters, and you have some infantry to pick off his infantry. No bueno, and I think it's not necessarily great because he kind of really thinned out his units over here, and he left a lot of sides of his units open, so they're easily going to get picked off. I don't know if pushing in was the right call. But Rip has his power, so I guess we'll see. Oh. So I guess Rip doesn't even get to use his power. Because his power was there, and I'm not able to use the sight to calculate it, but it should be... Wait, I think it would look like this. Yeah, this makes sense to me. If Rip used it, it would be that. So, as long as he moves this 3 HP tank out of the way, his units won't get hit. And you're kind of, you are hitting the bulk of his units right here, right? You're getting a Neo tank, 2 healthy tanks, a healthy copter, well, 2 healthy copters. Oof. And you can easily deal with all these other units I was just pointing out with the infantry and whatnot. So, yeah, I understand it. Poor Rip doesn't even get to use his power. But yeah. So the match like this and the way I understood it kind of make me feel like maybe Olaf isn't the end-all be-all on a map like this, right? Because there's the new tier 2 with Von Bolt. It's really shaking things up, and yeah, just the power of being able to make threats on the map and force your opponent to deal with them, otherwise he'll be far behind. Because Rip was able to, 1, contest a lot of cities, 2, threaten captures to a lot of cities. So that's a bigger, because he's threatening more cities, that's a larger chunk of money on the table that Kilme's going to have to answer to. He can't just lay back. And in a match, and in this matchup with these COs, he's not going to just want to stand by and let that happen. So I hope you enjoyed that match. I know I did. And thanks for watching.